Why do you like to be alive? There's a lot of places I still want to go, books I want to read, movies I want to see. Even if I don't get to experience it all before I die, I like the anticipation of it all. Watching sunrises with a hot cup of tea. Singing my favorite songs in a place with good acoustics. Using soft yarn to knit something nice for someone. Calling a friend and hearing the joy in their voice when they realize it's me. Snow days. Making s'mores at a bonfire. It's all the little things. I hope you can find all the little things you love in life. There's are so many. Please be safe, friend. Pretty sure no one will find this comment, but hey, today was a good day for me. I just got my first electric piano and I'm eager to learn this instrument. Now that is a reason to be alive. Music. I want to master this thing before I go. I fought for it and got it back. Stood on a bridge in December, but family and therapy got me back on track. There are still a lot of lost emotions and confusion within me, but my therapist and I are working on it. Man, all the good in this world. Joking around and laughing with your friends until you can't breathe anymore. A random dog running up to you to sniff your butt. Getting your first kiss. The smells from bakeries when you head out in the morning. Staring at the moon late at night knowing there's someone out there doing the same. Hugging your parents after not seeing them for a while. Cuddling with you so after you did the beep peep skatedly do. A stranger's baby smiling at you when you're waiting for a bus. The taste of the watermelon on a hot summer day and laying on the couch under a blanket watching the flames in the fireplace on a cold winter evening. Listening to the music in your bed on a Friday night knowing you don't have to set up an alarm for tomorrow. Texting your crush late at night, both of you being dead-ass tired but neither one wanting it to stop. The feeling of accomplishment when you finally learn to tie your shoes yourself. When you finally reach the bathroom after having to pee really bad. Telling a joke and the whole group of people laughs. Reading a book at the seaside while the sun, unbeknownst to you, slowly burns in a dick a sibling drew on your back with the sunscreen. Finally beating a game you've been playing for weeks. Making a meme yourself and thousands of strangers on Reddit like it too. When you inconsistently water your cactus but the cactus is just fine with it and it blooms to thank you and you didn't even know cactus can bloom. When you're really tired after a workout and your muscles are sore the next day, but hey, you know you did something good for yourself. Starving yourself because you know grandma is going to cook your favorite meal and you have to eat it all. I spent the first half of my adult life living on fast forward. I worked hard to get through college with almost no student debt. I worked 60+ hours when off from school and full-time with a full-time schedule. I grew up not with uneducated parents and a single mom that broke her back so I could have an opportunity. I put that on my shoulders and powered through. I studied business and finance, and now I own a business. The thing is, despite being proud of that time, I can hardly remember feeling happy. I can remember laughing with friends from college I swore at the time were my brothers, or being in the trance-like state of being young and in love, but not just genuinely feeling happy. I know I was at times, but I can't recall clearly because of all the work and travel and thrill chasing. When I was 24, my mom, who was the monolith of everything good about my identity, got small cell lung cancer and died within the year. You want to talk about a blur? I cared for her as she did hospice in our home, and I can remember the wild ride of trying to do everything I could to make her smile, then everything I could to make her comfortable, then everything I could to squeeze a life's worth of life lessons into a week, to finally hoping with all my heart that she wasn't in pain as she laid there unable to respond to anything. If you want to talk about a hard stop to a breakneck life, then losing your beacon in the storm is it. In the end, I remember telling her I'd make her proud. That I'd do something with my education and make a name for myself. She said, "I'll be proud of you either way." God, just typing that wrenches my gut now a decade later. One day I was pushing her on a wheelchair to this ice cream shop we had been to countless times in my childhood. It was less than a block away. She had me stop. I was confused. She told me she just wanted to close her eyes and feel the sun and listen to the robins. She told me that whenever the sunshine warmed my face that she'd be holding my face in her hands. When she finally let go, her funeral was the real shock to the system. Not because she was actually gone, but because of the sheer number of souls at the funeral that I had never met. My mom and dad adopted me in their 30s. I met countless people from before that time that my mom had touched. She helped so many people get through school, leave abusive partners, kick drug habits, raise their kids, and the list goes on. It was a real eye-opener. She never had much money in her whole life. She had a long career in medical billing at the end. She didn't win the rat race per se, but she resonated so beautifully with so many people. That's what being alive is fucking about, my friends. Being present for yourself, and for others, and resonating beyond today in ways that are important. I think about all of the mistakes I made as a young adult. Being brash and insensitive, being naive and loud with my opinions, crossing the line of consent and autonomy in many ways with a lot of people, saying I didn't have time for the people I could see were struggling, taking advantage of people and angling all the time to get ahead, which growing up in poverty is sort of a byproduct of survival and hard to shake, and also just not being there. I mean, like autopilot life despite all of the rich things in life around me. If you read this far, just know this. I get up every morning and close my eyes and just listen. I take a minute and think about what a privilege it is to be able to take in even the most silent stimuli of an empty room. If my cat decides to sleep at my feet, I listen for her little kitty breath or watch her lungs fill up and rise and fall and think about whether she knows how much I love her. I have a cup of coffee and I really taste it. I think about the crazy process it goes through to even be a bean, much less be in a cup warming my soul and opening my eyes. I have a busy schedule, no doubt, and I have a flood of stimuli barrages every day, but I spend so much time listening to the robins. I people watch like crazy. I take the time to match smiles sent my way. I don't let someone I think is in pain pass by unnoticed, and I try to get know people's paths that lead to who they are now when they wrong me, because understanding that much about someone gives you peace even if it doesn't excuse what they do. I have a rule of taking 10. Take 10 seconds to calm down, take in, consider, feel, etc. 10 seconds to ask a question. 10 seconds to Google something you're curious about. 10 seconds to see just how rich everything is in this crazy beautiful existence. I can't stress enough how much better I feel every day, and I close my eyes in the sunshine for mom every chance I get. I survived cancer. I was given weeks to live and miraculously got remission. Life post-cancer is a terrible struggle, mentally and physically, but I wouldn't trade it for the alternative. I now get to watch my adorable niece grow up. I get to look at the world from a completely different perspective. I get to enjoy being with my wife and traveling the world as much as possible. Death would solve a lot of the pain I currently live with, but the eternal sadness it would cause my family would haunt me. I'm terminally ill, and the closer I've gotten to death, the more I've just sat back and watched nature, genuinely stopping to smell the roses. It's the little things in life that make life worth living. The family of birds in a nearby tree communicating with each other. The dog you wake up every morning to and can't wait to see you and be around you. I even oddly lyle watching the trees rustle on a windy day. Watching my fish swim around their aquarium. Valuing the time and memories I make with my wife and friends. People that say life isn't worth living need to try their very best to smell the roses, watch the sunrise or sunset. I know sometimes life really can get us down in the dumps, but life is truly beautiful. Honestly, a good story. I used to devour libraries as a kid. I usually have something going on in the background while I work, and I listen to fiction podcasts voraciously. There's always a new story, but that moment when you find a good one and it connects with you? This is what I live for too. Growing up, my mother always told me that the only time she ever saw my father cry was when I was born. I had a bad relationship with him, so she would say that to remind me that he loves me even if he was tough with me. So I decided, when I was 12, that I'm going to always do my best in life so that when the moment will come that I will have a kid, or more than one, I will be ready to make them feel so loved that they will never doubt that. So congratulations, you're awesome. I hold a terrible secret. There's a skeleton inside of me. So if I die, it will be released. It is a burden I must bear, to protect the world from skeletons. Feelings. I love to feel. I have no idea if that will be something I can experience once I'm gone. And it's rather very fascinating. Experiencing, in general, is probably the better term. I can try so much and there still is something I don't know anything about. A new kind of cooking, a new sport. Climbing another mountain, seeing new things. Having the next fall come in and see the leaves in a new pattern of red, orange and yellow. And this is just without leaving my usual environment. The sheer difference it would make if I just now took a plane to somewhere in Asia and start a new life there is mind-boggling but beautiful. I love that about life. It never gets old. My husband and our dogs. Throughout high school, I told myself that I wouldn't live beyond 21 years old and truly believed it. Depression kicked my ass back then. My now husband and I met when I was 19 and I swear he saved me. 4 years later and I've never been so happy in my entire life. Seeing people's faces when they get a nice text. Getting the window seat on a plane. Playing with babies. Flipping through a stack of records. Hitting the rev limiter. Perfectly ripe watermelons. My dog. Everything lavender scented. A goal scored with 2 minutes left in the third. When the coffee/cream/sugar balance is flawless. Painting a room with friends. The electrical buzz when you walk downtown after rain. Overdressing for events. Finding something you thought was lost forever. I could write a million of these and they change every day. The primary reason is, I don't want to make my family sad again. I've also learned how to handle my depression and anxiety better. I have wonderful people in my life that I can count on when I need them and I have some exciting things planned for the future, so it would be a shame to end it all now. I really don't. I work a dead-end job, live with chronic pain, but every 2 months me and my brother we create bags on basic needs, close gift cards to shops hygiene stuff and go into out local city and give them to people. We have created real friendship with some of the people we gave it to. I have seen people manage to get back on their feet and get sorted. That's what keeps me going, knowing even a small thing can help and maybe help that person clean up for an interview or keep 5 them going for a few extra days. I know that this will probably never get read, but that actually works as a metaphor for my life. I don't care if no one knows about it, I am just happy that it exists. My existence is nothing more than that, and witnessing existence is in itself an amazing thing. I battled depression for a while because I wasn't able to find meaning in my life, and every now and then it comes creeping back, but I exist, and I think it's amazing. When life is shitty, or fantastic, I just remember that I exist. Because that's all I really am. It's always the little things that keep me going. Sunsets, endorphin rushes after workouts, pancakes, little moments of joy with my friends, art, trying new things, etc. I don't always feel better than that day a year ago, but I know that there will always be moments in the future that I will feel better that make everything worth it. The amount of beauty in the world that we lived in. Tonight, after a long day of dealing with stuff that nobody should ever have to go through, I looked up while walking to my car in the parking lot at the black night sky, and saw dozens of brightly lit stars shining down at me. It was an amazing sight, and made me think that light, even though it took it millions to billions of years, can still reach me. It's little things like that which help keep me going. When Chester Bennington committed suicide, it made me realize I have to see as many of my favorite artists live as I can. I will never be able to see Linkin Park live anymore and it haunts me. Who knows which band will fall apart next, so I need to see them all while I have the opportunity. This is keeping me alive and motivated for the future even when I'm super depressed. I have 6 concerts planned this year and I couldn't be more excited. Although life goes ups and downs, I'm pretty happy how it's going. Last year I graduated from college and I have a great job, good friends and a loving family. My only wish is I could get a nice GF, but I always have 1 million reasons to thank for being alive. I'm 24 and working 60+ hour weeks constantly at a job that pays well but is unfulfilling, and I'm ultimately living life constantly wishing for the future. I feel like I'm fast forwarding through what should be some of the best years of my life. I just ignored a call from my mom last night because I was drunk and tired from this week, but you've put some things into perspective. Thank you for sharing. It hits hard when you talk about hospice. My grandpa, my hero and the only real true father I had, died at 97 this last August. I've always had that feeling of being alive but just being an actor in a play called my life. To literally sit and hold someone as they take their last breaths, whispering to them that you will be fine if they leave you and leave the pain behind is a definite game changer. It makes you cognizant of the fact that this life is real. And magical. And full of so many moments. But the smallest moments, much like the coffee bean, are the biggest moments. I'm struggling in some ways I can't quite phrase correctly, but I feel like I'm viewing my life exploding in the vacuum of space. I see everything happening, but there's no sound. There's nothing to tether me to the reality of it. I'm staring down a prognosis. At the age of 16, that means I may never be able to work a full-time job, and will likely be in a wheelchair fairly soon. I'm staring down the barrel of the shotgun that is a chronic illness and painful death, and as I recover from a childhood of abuse, the only thing I can cling to and believe my life has meaning is taking care of others. Thank you for giving me some long-lost perspective. Thank you. I lost my beacon almost to the day 9 years ago, my fiancé. I'm married now to an amazing guy with 2 beautiful kiddos, and my youngest took her first steps 2 days ago. I did the hard work of going through the motions for years. Impossibly, life goes on, doesn't it? It's just so much richer in the small moments. Thank you for such a beautifully written reminder. The death of my father changed my life in many ways, some good and some bad, but it really opened my eyes to the fact that life is finite and the ride can stop at any moment. As far as I know, this life is my only chance to get things right, so you have to be as good a person as possible and help those around you, and always take a minute to yourself to stop and watch the robins. Happiness is an elusive concept. In some cultures, people are made to feel guilty for being happy, so people learn to hide or mask their happiness. Happiness is the ability to be where you are while you are there. Thank you for watching Reddit Space. Please subscribe if you love these Reddit stories.